Now, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but the Chicago Sun-Times published its summer reading list. There are some cracking titles in this. The Last Algorithm by Andy Weir. Salt and Honey by Delia Owens.
Two major American newspapers just published a summer reading list. The Chicago Sun-Times and Philadelphia Inquirer, respected publications with decades of history, recommended books for their readers to enjoy. There's just one massive problem. None of the books on the list actually exist. Not some of them. Not most of them. All of them. Completely fictional. Made up. Invented by AI and published by newspapers that apparently forgot the most basic rule of journalism. Fact-check your content.
Last Sunday's edition of the paper contained this list of recommended summer reading consisting of 15 books, but 10 of them aren't real. The fake titles include the multi-generational saga Tidewater Dreams and the sci-fi thriller The Last Algorithm.
In May 2025, millions of readers opened their newspapers expecting book recommendations. What they got was a glimpse into how badly things go wrong when journalists let AI do their work and assume it's telling the truth. The section was called Heat Index, Your Guide to the Best of Summer. It was a special insert, syndicated by King Features Syndicate, a unit of Hearst. The kind of feel-good summer content that newspapers have published for generations. The reading list featured well-known, respected authors. Isabel Allende, the famous Chilean-American writer who's published over 20 novels. Readers saw her name and got excited. Then they saw the book title, Tidewater Dreams. According to the AI-generated description, Tidewater Dreams is a climate fiction novel that explores how one family confronts rising sea levels while uncovering long-buried secrets. It sounds compelling. It sounds like exactly the kind of book Isabel Allende would write. Literary fiction with social commentary and family drama. There's just one problem. Isabel Allende never wrote it. The book doesn't exist. It's never existed. There's no publisher, no ISBN, no reviews, no nothing. It's completely fictional. And it wasn't just one book. The entire list was fake. Real authors, fake books. The AI had learned what kinds of books these authors typically write, then invented titles and descriptions that sounded plausible. The author of the section, Marco Buscaglia, eventually admitted what happened. He used AI to help put the reading list together, and he didn't fact-check the output. Let that sink in. A professional writer, working for major newspapers, used ChatGPT or a similar AI tool to generate book recommendations. The AI hallucinated an entire reading list. And instead of verifying that these books actually existed, he just published it. This wasn't a small blog post on some random website. This was a syndicated feature distributed to major metropolitan newspapers, printed on actual paper, delivered to homes across 2 major American cities. Readers who trusted these publications went to bookstores and libraries asking for these books. Librarians searched their databases and found nothing. Bookstore employees looked confused. I'm sorry, we don't have that title. Are you sure about the name? Some readers assumed the books were so new they weren't in stock yet. Others thought maybe they were independent publications or regional releases. It took days before people started realizing the truth. These books were never real. The Chicago Sun-Times issued a statement trying to explain the disaster. They clarified that the syndicated section was provided by King Features Syndicate, a unit of Hearst, as if outsourcing the content somehow made it less embarrassing that they published complete fiction as fact. They didn't initially explain that AI was involved. That detail came out later when Marco Buscaglia, the credited author, admitted he'd used AI assistants and failed to verify the output. The newspapers pulled the section. They issued corrections. They apologized to readers. But the damage was done.
The guild that represents Sun-Times workers shared a statement saying, in part, "We take great pride in the union-produced journalism that goes into the respected pages of our newspaper and on our website. We're deeply disturbed that AI-generated content was printed alongside our work."
Screenshots of the fake reading list had already gone viral on social media. Journalists across the country were sharing it as an example of everything wrong with AI in newsrooms. Media critics had a field day. This wasn't AI being used to help with research or streamline workflows. This was AI literally inventing content and journalists publishing it without question. One media commentator put it bluntly: "If you can't be bothered to check whether the books you're recommending actually exist, why are you in journalism?" This might seem like a relatively harmless mistake. Nobody got hurt. It's just a book list. But it reveals something deeply concerning about how AI is being integrated into journalism. Newspapers are supposed to be sources of reliable information. That's their entire purpose. People trust that when they read something in a major publication, it's been verified, that someone checked the facts. But newsrooms are under massive pressure. Budgets are shrinking. Staff is being cut. Deadlines are tight. And AI tools promise to make content creation faster and easier. So writers use AI, sometimes to help with research, sometimes to generate drafts, and apparently, sometimes to create entire features without verifying anything. The Chicago Sun-Times and Philadelphia Inquirer aren't small-town papers. These are major metropolitan publications. They have editors. They have fact-checkers. They have standards and processes. And somehow, an entirely fictional reading list made it through all those checkpoints and into print. If AI-generated fiction can get published in respected newspapers, what else is getting through? How many other articles contain AI hallucinations that readers are accepting as fact? Here's what makes this particularly insidious. The AI didn't just invent random book titles. It specifically chose real, respected authors and created plausible books they might have written. Isabel Allende is a literary icon. She's won numerous awards. Her books have been translated into dozens of languages. Readers trust her name, so when they saw Tidewater Dreams by Isabel Allende, they had no reason to doubt it. The description fit her style. The themes matched her previous work. Everything seemed legitimate. That's the danger of AI hallucinations. They're not obviously fake. They're designed to sound plausible. The AI has been trained on real books, real authors, real descriptions. So when it invents something that fits the pattern. A reader can't spot these fakes without actively verifying each title. And why would they? They're reading a trusted newspaper. They assume someone already did that verification. After this incident went public, newsrooms across the country started quietly auditing their AI-assisted content. Some found similar problems. Articles with fake quotes, statistics that didn't check out, references to studies that don't exist. Most of these discoveries never became public. Publications fixed the errors quietly, hoping nobody noticed. But industry insiders know this is happening at scale. The Associated Press, Reuters, and other major news organizations have since published strict guidelines about AI use. They require verification of all AI-generated content. They mandate that AI-assisted articles be clearly labeled. They emphasize that AI is a tool, not a replacement for reporting. But those guidelines only work if people follow them. And the Chicago book list proves that even established publications with reputations to protect can fail spectacularly when they let their guard down. Newspapers are already struggling with credibility issues. Trust in media is at historic lows. People accuse journalists of bias, of laziness, of prioritizing clicks over accuracy. And then something like this happens. A fake book list that confirms every criticism. Journalists aren't checking their work. They're letting AI do their jobs. They're publishing fiction as fact. Readers who went to bookstores looking for Tidewater Dreams aren't just annoyed. They're questioning everything else they've read in those newspapers. If the book recommendations are fake, what about the news stories? What about the investigative pieces? This is how trust erodes. Not all at once, but through accumulated failures. Each mistake makes readers slightly more skeptical. Each AI hallucination published as fact makes people wonder what else is wrong. The Chicago incident is a perfect example of AI's fundamental weakness. It sounds confident even when it's completely wrong. ChatGPT and similar tools don't know the difference between real books and invented ones. They've been trained on massive datasets that include real books, so they know what book titles sound like, what description should include, which authors write with genres. But they don't have access to a definitive database of books that actually exist. So when prompted to generate a reading list, they create plausible-sounding titles without any verification. And they do it with the same confident tone they use for everything else. There's no disclaimer. No, I'm not sure if these books exist. Just authoritative-sounding recommendations that happen to be completely fictional. This is why AI can't replace human judgment. Humans know to verify. Humans understand that just because something sounds right doesn't mean it is. Humans have the skepticism needed to catch these mistakes. Or at least, they're supposed to. In May 2025, 2 major American newspapers published a summer reading list recommending books that don't exist. Real authors, fake books, all generated by AI. None of it fact-checked. The newspapers apologized. The author admitted he used AI without verifying the output. The section was pulled, but the damage to their credibility was done. This wasn't a sophisticated hack or a malicious attack. This was simple laziness. Someone used AI to generate content, assumed it was accurate, and published it without checking. And if it can happen at the Chicago Sun-Times and Philadelphia Inquirer, it can happen anywhere. Every AI-assisted article you read might contain hallucinations. Every recommendation might be fake. Every fact might be fiction. The technology exists to make journalism faster and more efficient. But speed without accuracy isn't journalism. It's just publishing fiction and hoping nobody notices. Do you think newspapers should be using AI to generate content? Or is this proof they can't be trusted with the technology? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more AI failures that show the gap between what AI promises and what it actually delivers, hit that subscribe button for AI fails. We're exposing every disaster.